I don't know why I get so nervous doing introductions. It's so bizarre. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is a very different kind of a video. I just wanted to casually sit down. As you can see, usually when I film videos, there's this whole ritual of me getting ready, taking a shower, doing my hair and my makeup, which is all very therapeutic, and then setting the lighting, testing the lighting, what's the background like. So it's this whole project, and then I usually have a script, or I have notes taken down of what I want to speak about. I have in my mind, a little bit of a preparation plan, but this is not like that. As you can see, I'm I just a very casual sharing of what's on my mind. To me, this is like writing in my journal, except it's in video format and I can just disseminate it onto the interwebs. I wanted to talk about what's been on my mind for a couple of days, essentially talking about the importance of taking care of our mental health and what happens and how serious things can get if we don't prioritize our mental health. And if I've mentioned it in so many of my videos, the reason I even started this channel, the reason I went on this wellness journey, a journey of health and healing, a journey of alignment, a journey of awakening, a journey of enriching my consciousness, is because at one point I started prioritizing my mental health. It opened this whole new reality, really, a whole new way of life, a whole new way of living. Completely radically shifted my perspective on so many things. And since then, I've been taking notes, I've been observing my own consciousness, my own state of mind. I've been connecting with the natural world so much, which is helping my consciousness to expand, which is helping me to make sense of why the ego behaves the way it is, why the mind behaves how it does. And the reason these things have been more on my mind recently, or the reason that I'm compelled to make this video or share my thoughts online on this, is because of Caroline's death. And if you were not aware of her, she was a celebrity here in the UK. She was a TV presenter. Her energy was really light and bubbly and so talented. And she'd been in the news recently. I just knew that she stepped down from her regular job and she was involved in some court case. I didn't even know the details so much, but then I found out that she had died. Even though there was no reason mentioned in that particular news at that time how she died, I just knew that she took her own life. I was just so shocked that why am I not shocked? I was shocked, but at the same time I was like, I get it. I understand how difficult it must have been for her. Despite not even knowing the details of her case, I wasn't following it on social media. I didn't even know what sort of comments or gossip or slander was being thrown at her. I had no idea, but in my heart, I just felt, in that moment, I just felt her pain. I resonated with it, and I was like, I get it. That sort of frequency, that sort of momentum is very prevalent in modern society. I have felt it as well, that, why am I even making these videos? Who the fuck cares? Who's even listening? Who's even watching this? And that energy, that frequency, it wants us to feel worthless. Like your life doesn't matter. You don't matter. You're basically a loser. You're a burden, not only on yourself, not only on your loved ones, not only on your friends, but you're a burden on life itself. You're a burden on the universe. That's so messed up. But the thing is that sort of momentum, this sort of convincing by the mind is really convincing. Is in that moment you can be like, yeah, this is the only truth. And if you're not grounded in yourself, if you're not rooted in reality, if you're not aware of how worthy you are, if you're not aware of how valuable you are, how important you are, you matter a lot, each one of us, all 7 billion of us matter a lot. All life is special. Even those who are janitors, even those who are maids in your household, even those who are homeless, their lives are just as special as yours. We're all on one level. But this sort of illness, this sort of mental glitch, it is very convincing in making the person, making the host, if it's a virus, it can very easily convince the host that you're suffering and you don't matter and nobody cares about you, nobody gives a shit about you, and you're basically worthless and you don't belong here. And in that moment, it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I'll just end the suffering and I'll take my own life. So I just felt, it's just so sad that she was suffering. She suffered so much that is the only way out, that she thought. And she had everything, you know, she had beauty, money, fame, material, whatever material acquisition that one desires that you can imagine. She had everything, and even then she suffered so much that none of that could heal that for her. So that it's such a big lesson for all of us who are now here on planet Earth. It's such a profound lesson for us that our priorities are not in the right order. Like your foundation, our foundation matters. And our foundation needs to be very clear in who we are. Like we are not defined by what our achievements in the material world. We are not defined by how much money we have. We are not defined by how many goals, we accomplish and how much we have tangible and data and numbers we have to show for ourselves. None of that matters if you're not rooted in yourself, if you're not aligned, if you're not grounded. And in my life, in my own practice, I have cultivated this sense of worth, this sense of I matter or my life matters, and this sense of belonging here in this life is by training myself to be in the present moment, by training myself to be the observer, the watcher. I am not my thoughts. I am not my emotions. I am not what my mind tells me I am. I am not the character sketch it creates for me. I'm something behind that. I'm something that is just behind the ego, that's behind the mind, as an observer, as a watcher. We can use many ways to describe this. Soul is one word to describe it. Energy, consciousness. Ultimately, it's this feeling of being the observer of everything that is happening in your life, in your body, in your energetic field. So I guess I really want to stress how important it is for us to prioritize our mental well-being, our mental health. And it helps to understand how the mind works. It helps to understand how the ego works. And it also helps to understand how evolution works. Because why we are here at this point in time and space, where many people are suffering from anxiety, depression, paranoia, just this feeling of not belonging, this general feeling of agitation where people just lose their mind and they get so angry. Or people like Caroline, who's so full of life and so beautiful and gorgeous and so talented that she found no way out but to take away her own life. There is a momentum of evolution behind this. And that momentum of evolution is that we as a species collectively are way too identified with our mind. And evolution is all about survival. You know, evolution is equals to survival of the human race. So the mind, the ego thinks that by controlling us, by dominating us, by manipulating us, by making us feel that we are identical to our emotions, we are identical to our thoughts, that we are a particular character, or we are the role we play here on earth, it has the evolutionary impulse behind it. It thinks that this is the survival of the human race. It has no idea that by dominating and manipulating this body or this soul or this consciousness in that manner, it's only pushing that person to its own extinction. In cultivating this sense of awareness, we are loosening our identification from the mind. So we are literally like, imagine changing a course of a river one drop at a time. Slowly, the river is going left, but you want the river to eventually start flowing straight. We'll do it one drop at a time. Slowly, change the course of the river and have it go straight. This is what the human species on planet Earth needs to do right now, is to slowly become aware of the ego, or how the ego operates in an individual body, to observe your thoughts and your emotions, to watch the ego, simply observe. And this takes practice. It depends on how much of a monkey mind chatter happens, but slowly we need to bring that awareness that we are not our mind, we are something bigger than that. And whatever word resonates with you, if you're the soul, then you are the soul. In the human body, you're not the body, you're not the mind, you are the soul. When I speak as life. I don't have a life, I am the life. I don't have a soul, I am the soul. I don't have a consciousness, I am the consciousness. I don't have an energy body, I am the energy. So you are experiencing this human life, which is a part of your existence. It's not the entirety of you. And if we don't cultivate this sort of awareness bit by bit, we are going to see more and more of what happened with Caroline. And in my understanding, this sort of mental identification, this sort of ego identification is what is a glitch in the evolution. Imagine like if this is a computer, there is a virus. You just need to become aware of the virus. And the antivirus is basically you, your attention, your focus, which needs to be in the present moment. It doesn't need to be in the past. It doesn't need to be in the future. It needs to be in the present moment. And when we start becoming an observer of our thoughts and our emotions, it's important to not feel any frustration and anger towards the mind or the ego. Is not evil. It's not mean. It just simply believes that the survival of the human race depends on itself, on the ego. But that's the glitch that I'm talking about. When you practice taking your attention outside of the mind, it will be difficult initially. How evolution works, the ego will do anything to drag you back into that space where you're identified with it, because according to the ego, that's where the survival of the human race is. But we know now, we have that wisdom, we have that experience, that's just leading us to our own destruction. Like, we're literally possessed by our own mind. It's like we're hypnotized by our egos. We don't even see that. We have this severe superiority complex that is so prevalent in humankind, where we are just here to dominate everyone and everything. That is the glitch in the matrix. I think I'm gonna end this here. I don't even know what I even said. What I'm trying to say is that we need to own our life. We need to claim our power, and we need to own our power, that we are magical beings of some source. Or we're connected to something so much bigger that we cannot really express it in words, but we can feel it once we become that awareness behind our mind, that awareness behind our thought. We can feel that connection to something larger. So it's a larger fabric of the universe, where we are connected to everything, to nature, to stars, to other planets, to Earth herself, and most importantly, to each one of us, to other beings, to other human beings, to animals. And that sort of connection is essential for the survival of all life, all of planet Earth. all her creations, all her creatures. And yeah, if you are here now, then thank you for listening. And yeah, have a great day, evening, night. Bye bye.